Hello. Hello, everyone. Okay, so today we are going over the language of love and my personal opinion about it. Opinion/review? I don't know. I've never really done one of these, so we're just gonna go with opinion for now. Anyway, the language of love, as a disclaimer, is not a game. I didn't know anything about it. I went into it thinking it was your typical dating sim. You know, you would get to interact, make choices, and whatnot. No, it's less of a game, more like a story. Like if you're reading a book or something. You go through it and experience everything from the main protagonist's perspective, and you just read through everything as it happens. Typically, the only button you're pressing is A to go forward. If you're paying attention and reading, of course you can go back and even skip forward, but there's really no need to. As first of all, the characters themselves were really thought out, and the story was written really well. While going through it, you'll notice that basically everything is detailed. As far as the hair sticking to someone's skin, or how something looks like something else, the atmosphere of a room, or the aroma of the smells wafting through it. Everything was detailed, and while reading, I really enjoyed that. It was a nice slice of life kind of look onto things that would have normally seemed unimportant. Small details that you go over from day-to-day life. It made me kind of reminisce on smaller details of my own life. So, if anything, it brought a somewhat nostalgic feeling to me. I really did enjoy the humble kind of moments that happened within the story, and all the characters were likable. I definitely fell in love with Tama, a little girl with a bubbly, energetic personality. I definitely liked how in-depth it went about their characters' goals, aspirations, and even their doubts, and it was a very nice and humble story to go through. But right about there is where my enjoyment kind of stops. When reading through, they kind of would often stick to simple character traits for a really, really long time and bring it up in conversation all of the time, like it was just filler almost, which isn't a bad thing. But when you're sitting here for over 3 hours or more and they're still talking about how a character trait that was introduced in the beginning of the story, say your character being good at cooking, and that's still being dragged out maybe 3 hours into an already kind of short experience. For me, I kind of got a little impatient with it. It was almost like there was no development of the characters themselves. They helped each other out with their self-doubts and kind of guided each other and helped each other and became a team, so to say. But in terms of actual development, they didn't really develop at all. They just kind of dropped their self-doubts and came together, I guess. Which isn't a bad thing. I just found it to be a little stale. If it was maybe a short story, maybe lasting about 2 hours, then it would have been really good. But this was a short story that lasted like 6 hours, so it dragged on and became stale. And the only moments that I enjoyed were the small moments that wasn't when you were babysitting Tama or in your apartment. It was those other moments that were different than day-to-day life. I loved seeing how the characters would react to different scenarios and seeing if they would grow from them, which there wasn't a whole lot of growth. I think for me, there was a whole lot of emphasis on descriptive storytelling and like dragging out kind of small details and stuff, but me personally, I don't necessarily like that, and I would like them to move on sometimes, especially when you can tell that it's dragging. But overall, it was a decent experience and a humbling story that brought out some nostalgia in me and had me thinking about little details of my own life. Although I may have not been the best audience for this experience, there's definitely an audience out there for it. Would I go through it again? Probably not, because it's more of a first experience type of thing. There's not really a lot of replayability to one story, but overall, it was a decent experience, and I think people should experience it at least once. Anyway, thanks for listening. That's kind of my take on it. So for those of you who would want a rating on it, in my personal opinion, I would probably say it's around 2 beautiful pictures of dark out of 57 Tamas. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.